What's going on, everybody? Welcome back. And today I'm going to teach you how to find the perfect place to live around the Austin area. I'm going to show you everything, so make sure to stay tuned for that. I'm also going to share with you some of the feedback and perhaps pushback that I've received from people from YouTube that had visited these certain suburbs around the Austin area. And this is just part one, because later on I'm going to share with you part two about this grand tour, grand overview about finding the best place to live in the Austin area. But let's hop on to my computer and let's get started right now. Let's get started, guys. So we're going to talk about this comprehensive guide. I'm not going to mention all the suburbs. This is more like part one, but I am going to start out with a lot of the suburbs that you guys reach out about. So yeah, let's get started right now. Before we do that, I wanted to show you, if this is your first time, probably not your first time, but I want to give you a guide of how to look at a map of Austin. And the whole theme, like I said in the intro, is to give you more of a bird's eye view and your guide to making your best decision when it comes to moving out here. So anyway, so as you guys know, major highway in and out of Austin is I-35, the interstate. One of the most congested interstates, I think, in the country, or at least it seems like that for us Texans, where you're going to find your main points of congestion are going to be, of course, around downtown. There's another area here in South Park Meadows, and then, of course, around Round Rock. So just something to keep in mind during the peak hours. But that is the major highway in and out of Austin, north and south. It used to be one of my favorite highways to go north and south or to go into downtown was Loop 1 or Mopac, but that one has become pretty congested as well, especially around the downtown area, and then up here when you get to Palmer Lane area as well. So also I wanted to mention the toll roads. I'm not a huge fan of the toll roads. I feel like a lot of these highways, you shouldn't have to pay for them, but I understand. They are the best roads in towns. To be honest, they're newer. They don't have a ton of potholes like the other ones do. Although 130 is starting to get some, which is very surprising. But anyways, not a huge fan of toll roads, but I do use them when I want to skip all the traffic around Austin. But you have 45 and then you have 130. 130 can actually take you all the way down to the airport all the way from Georgetown area. So really nice option if you're living in Georgetown or perhaps Leander. It's a really nice option to have. But right now we are going to get started. I just wanted to mention those highways. We are going to get started with the southern part of Austin. We're going to start out with Buda and Kyle. And some of the things to consider before moving out here, maybe some of the things to avoid based on what I'm going to tell you. I cannot tell you not to move out here, obviously, but I can share with you some of the comments that other clients have made and then let you make your own decision. And remember, there will be a part two to this where I'm going to talk about more of the west side of Austin, which I haven't really mentioned that much, but I definitely want to start sharing that with you guys. So anyways, let's talk about Buda and Kyle. The main reason why I'm starting out with Buda and Kyle is because I'm really excited about this area because of the growth that is experiencing. A lot of the news lately, and I actually believe this, is that eventually Austin and San Antonio, here's San Antonio down here. Let me point it out. San Antonio, Austin, and eventually this whole area, the projection is it's going to become a giant metroplex. Just like Houston, just like Dallas. That's the projection. Even though San Antonio is already big, but they're saying that eventually all this is going to connect and it's going to become a huge, giant metroplex. So back to Buda and Kyle, the reason why I'm a huge fan of them is because they're still very, very affordable. So if you're a first-time home buyer, if you have a limited budget, this is definitely a great option for you because you can find homes under $300,000. Now, keep in mind, because when I take clients out to these areas, they tell me, hey, Julio, this is our budget and we cannot make it to $300,000. And I give them these options. Then they have things to say like, there's nothing around, I don't like it. But if you want a home and this is the only home that you can access, sometimes you have to make some compromises. I'm not here to lecture you. I'm just here to give you the options that are out there and are brand new homes. They're not super far from Austin. They're not super far from the store. And if you really want a home, you can definitely find an option under $300,000. But keep in mind, And that's what this video is about. It will not have all the amenities around you. It will not have, the store nearby, things like that, but eventually it will. That particular community, while I'm on the subject, is located right around here. But to be honest, without traffic, you can get to downtown Austin probably within 20 minutes. And I'm not exaggerating. Again, without traffic. With traffic, obviously, it's probably going to take more like 35 minutes, maybe more. But if you come to me and you say, hey, Julio, I really want a house, but this is my budget, under $300,000, I can find you an option right here for around 260 to maybe 280, brand new home. So again, keep that in mind. Is it going to have everything that you need? No. I digress. Back to Buda and Kyle. So not the most developed area, not like the northern part of Austin, like Round Rock and those areas, but a lot is coming, and a lot has come already. Finally, and I know that to some of you guys, it may not seem like much, but they finally have a Costco. So this whole area is where you can find, your big box stores, the Costco, the H-E-B, kind of your Cabela's. I don't know. It's like an huge outdoor store. Things like that. That's where you can find it in this area. And then, of course, and I'm not going to mention all the communities, guys, because there's so many of them. You have to reach out to the number or the email, and then I can give you more specific information. Today's more of an overview, but you definitely have options for whether you're looking for a lower budget. You have options here. One of my favorite options right now, Sunfield, is right here, which is a more established master plan community. I've made a video about this community before. Make sure to check that out. It's going to have a total of like 8,000 to 10,000 or around 8,000 homes. It has 2 huge amenity centers with a lazy river, tons of trails. I remember that this community has been building, I believe, since 2014 or 15, maybe less than that. I believe where homes were around $200,000 or even less back in the day, back in the day. Now, obviously, you can't find that there, but beautiful master plan community. The other community that I really like that's coming up, it'll have two lakes or 2 ponds, 2 amenity centers, trails all around it. Then you also have communities that are a little bit closer to I-35 and all the commercial spaces. And then when you go on the west side of things, you will definitely have communities. For example, there's 6 Creeks that I made a video about it. Make sure to check that out too. And then Anthem community also that have, top ranked builders like Perry, Brightland Homes, Taylor Morrison, and Newmark, builders like that as well. A lot of the misconceptions, especially from locals in the Austin area that I talk to, is they believe that Buda and Kyle is only for starter homes, right? You're more of the smaller home, more affordable home, but that is not true. Especially on the west side of things, and Sunfield, you can definitely find bigger homes with more of your top tier builders in these areas. So if you're coming from out of town, that is definitely something to keep in mind in this area, that you can definitely find that. And make sure to check out that video about 6 Creeks. Beautiful community. So yeah, Buda and Kyle, still very small. A lot of developments coming in though. It's called Bricktown, I believe, that's coming into this area now, and I'll make sure to show that here on the screen. You also have the Vibe that is also a mixed-use development, and then they also have a movie studio that's coming down here in San Marcos, which is crazy to think about that a movie studio is coming here. So you're really close to Kyle and the Buda area. Also, Buda, before I move on from Buda, they have a really cool downtown district, I guess you could call it. Valentina's, which is a local business, excellent barbecue with Mexican food mix or fusion. Amazing tacos. If you like breakfast tacos, if you like any kind of tacos, this is the place. But there's a really cool downtown district, so to speak. They have a lot of restaurants and shops, and you can definitely spend half a day out here. So that is definitely a good option in the Buda area. And then Kyle has that too, but it's not as developed as the Buda one. All right, so we're gonna make our way north and east before I move up there. So I just want to mention really briefly where the airport is. Here's Tesla. Here's a brand new mixed-use development called Velocity that they finally have given the green light to break ground. I think those were the latest news. And that is going to bring even more development to this east part of Austin. And let me zoom out real quick because you see it there, right? And look at how close it is to Buda and Kyle. So let me highlight it again. Here's the airport, here's Tesla, and then that mixed-use development. And again, from Kyle, Buda, and you're really close. Obviously, this is taking the toll roads, but if you come up I-35 and 71, you know, you're not super far. Obviously, if you come up I-35 and then to 71, it's probably going to take you more like 35 minutes, maybe more. If you use the toll roads, if it's on the weekends, let's say once this development comes in, it's only going to take you like 18 minutes, maybe 20 minutes at the most. So anyway, something to keep in mind. Let's move on. We have Manor coming up next. And you have seen a couple of videos that I have made about this community. I've helped quite a few families get into the suburb. It is the closest suburb to downtown Austin. I think it's about 15 miles or maybe less. But really, it only takes you, without traffic, it only takes you about 15 minutes. Maybe that's why I'm getting confused. It really only takes you about 15 minutes to get to downtown Austin. Part of 290 here has become a toll road, but you don't have to take the toll road. Obviously, it's faster if you take the toll road. But another thing to keep in mind as far as the lifestyle of Manor is that in daily life is that this area right here gets very congested during the peak hours because that is the main way in and out of Manor. So that is just something to keep in mind. During the peak hours, it gets really, really congested, unfortunately. But I think as Manor continues to develop, they're going to hopefully develop more ways to get in and out of the area. You can also take, this is actually Palmer Lane where the Apple campus is located, not here. The Apple campus is higher up, but Palmer takes you all the way up to the north part of, it can take you all the way up to Cedar Park area, Avery Ranch area. So that is definitely another option. It's not a toll road. It's just one of the major roads in this part of town, and it can take you all the way up to Avery Ranch, Brushy Creek area. So, and to the domain as well. So, anyways, I digress. So, Manor, very small town, not a whole lot going on there, but finally they're getting an H-E-B, a Chick-fil-A, and all these other major stores, and that is a good sign because anytime that H-E-B comes into your town, that means that hopefully more development is going to come in. Also, as far as development, there is one called Wild Horse that it's supposed to be developing kind of in this area. I'll be honest, I haven't been keeping up with it, but that it's going to have kind of that mixed use commercial strip center, things like that in this area, which is going to bring more amenities to Manor. But things to keep in mind, some of the comments that I've gotten from clients when it comes to Manor, that honestly the main comment that I've gotten is the traffic here when it comes to the peak hours. You know, when it comes to that commute traffic, some of the people just can't stand it. I know that compared to New York or New Jersey, Chicago, California is nothing, but for some of the locals, they're just not a big fan of this part of town. Other than that, a lot of the clients that we have helped move into this area, they like it. I had a couple from Seattle, actually, that moved into Shadow Glen. Heads up, they're not building anything new there until 2026. But anyways, they bought here into Shadow Glen, and they said they love it. They love more of the quiet country feel of it. They love that they still have easy access into downtown Austin. And then, yeah, like I said, you get comments from other couples that they're like, man, there's so much traffic, there's not a whole lot places to eat, things like that. So again, things to keep in mind. One of the most popular communities is Carillon. They have 4 different builders. They have Richmond, D.R. Horton, Chesmar, Brightland Homes. They have an amenity center. They have a pickleball court, trails all around. I've helped, I think, about 4 families find a home in this area. Definitely a destination to consider. It's super close to Austin compared to the other suburbs. So definitely something to consider. Oh, before I go in this area, Elgin, which is a little bit more east, so you're a little bit further away from the Manor area. They also have, and I know that I mentioned a lot of brand new communities, but a lot of you reaching out, that is what you're looking for. So I'm catering it to you guys, but I'm also going to mention, especially on part 2 of this, I'm going to mention some of the resale options. But anyways, Elgin, we recently helped a client. They found us on YouTube.
find a home, build a home from the ground up. And I think his total price after the design center is going to be around $290,000, right below $300,000. A brand new home, going to the design center and picking everything out. He found that here in Elgin, Texas, which is smaller than Manor, but hey, something to keep in mind. Okay, I'm not trying to make this an hour long. I apologize if it is. We are going to make our way up north. Pflugerville, the price point comes up a little bit more. We're talking about more in the high 300s, depending on the community, well into the 500,000s. I recently helped a young couple find a home here. They found me on YouTube and we found them a home. It's called the Lisso community. Taylor Morrison is building the houses out here right off of Wells Branch. But anyways, this is definitely a destination for people. One of the cool things about Pflugerville is also it's close to Austin. You have a lot of shopping in this area, the Stonehill Shopping Center. You have a Costco. This water park is really cool. I'll be honest, it's not as cool as the one in Round Rock, but it's still a good option. You also have Lake Pflugerville, one of my favorite lakes around the area, Man-May Lake. I think it's a 3-mile loop, but it is definitely an option to consider. Now, what are some of the comments that I get from people in moving to Pflugerville, that some of the things that they don't like, things like that? I would say some of the comments that I get is the price point. They think that some of the prices are too high from some of the people that have visited. Also, majority of the new construction is on the east side of Pflugerville. And that is just something to keep in mind, that it is still developing. But like I mentioned before, there's a ton of shopping here. Marshall's, Target, Costco. There's a movie theater. There's a water park there. Then you have Lake Pflugerville. But the price point comes up quite a bit, especially here at Black Hawk. We're talking about, above $500,000 that you can find a home here. You also have options, pockets, around here, a few communities here. And then also there's another community here on the east side. Now, again, some of the comments that I made is that on the east side of things, especially in this pocket right here, which is actually really close to Manor, there's not a whole lot of shops or restaurants or things like that. You have to go closer. Let's say if the community's here, you have to go closer to I-35 to find shopping and to find things like that. So those are some of the comments that I got, and those are some of the things that you should consider and avoid if you need to avoid when it comes to moving out here. So to wrap up Pflugerville, the more popular area I would say is this Black Hog and this entire place right here, because of Black Hog, because of Lake Pflugerville and the shopping that you get there. So, all right, moving up north, we're gonna move into Hutto, and then we are gonna move into Round Rock. So let's start out with Hutto. So if you've seen a recent video that I made, there is a brand new community right up here. I posted it last week, I believe, or 2 weeks ago. And the main attraction to Hutto is that you're so close to the Samsung plant, which is in Taylor. You're only within 10 to 12 minutes from the plant. And a lot of the people, and we're already seeing it, a lot of people that are gonna work in Samsung, they live in Hutto and they're just gonna commute in and out. Obviously you can live in Taylor too, but there's not as many options as there is in Hutto. And Hutto is a little bit more established. And you're right next to Round Rock when it comes to Hutto. So look at Hutto. And here are a ton of amenities that Round Rock has to offer are within. I know that it gets pretty congested here, the traffic, but you're within 10 minutes, maybe less, 8 minutes, depending on where you live in Hutto, whether you live north or whether you live south. You have easy access to Round Rock communities. Some of the comments that I've gotten about Hutto, I honestly have not gotten a bunch of comments about it. They may say that, hey, it's just too far northeast. It's about 25, 30 miles northeast of Austin. So that is some of the comments that I've gotten. But, I've helped a couple. The husband works at Tesla and he commutes from Hutto down to Tesla every day. And then I've helped families get into some of the communities here and they love it. They love Hutto. My sister actually lives in Hutto. So, but, those are some of the comments I would say. They have a really cool downtown district as well, kind of like Round Rock, Georgetown. Very small, very quaint, but a cool amenity. They have some restaurants and some shops there, but it still feels very small. It still feels very Texas, just to kind of mention that. There's a lot of building going on. So very quiet. If you're looking for some more quiet and peace, you can definitely find it here. But those are some of the comments that I've gotten, that it has easy access into Round Rock. So, and of course the Samsung plan, the $17 billion investment, guys, $17 billion right here. And it is within easy access to Hablo. Okay, moving on. Going into one of the major suburbs, cities outside of Austin, which is Round Rock, Texas. It is the largest by population outside of Austin, the largest city or suburb in the area. And I just want to highlight, I've made several videos about this area, and I'm not going to get deep into it, but one of the up and coming areas, I guess you could say, is this. So here's I-35. Sorry about that, guys. Okay, I-35. Whew. Okay, we have the outlets here. We have major hospitals here. Tons of shoppings all up and down I-35. It does get congested. Here's the downtown area. Really cool downtown. They've done a great job. They have a ton of restaurants, tons of shops. For during Christmas, it looks out of a postcard. They've done a really nice job of the downtown. But the area that I wanted to highlight is right here. If you're looking for new construction, you can definitely find options for resale, especially, Brushy Creek area, which a lot of people love, but the price tag comes up, we're talking about in the 600,000-700,000, 800,000 sometimes, depending on the home. But this area in particular, the reason why I like it is because of this. So if I zoom in a little bit, there's some new construction going on here, and here. And you have this giant park called Old Settlers. Huge park, tons of trails. There's a little lake that you can go fishing. They have events. They have soccer fields. They have baseball fields. They have cricket, I believe. All kinds of things within really close distance to this area. You also have the Dell Diamond, one of my favorite amenities in Round Rock. It's the AAA team. And they have a ton of theme nights for you and the kids. Really cool spot. You also have Kalahari Resort Indoor Water Park. I think it's the largest water park in the country. Really cool amenity for you and the kids, especially during the hot Texas summers. But it's definitely a good spot to check out. And that is just one little pocket of Round Rock, of some of the options that you have. And again, you get this because it's very well established. Some of the pushback that I get from people in Round Rock is that it doesn't feel like Austin, or it doesn't feel like the hill country. But again, you're not in the hill country at this point. You're more on the east side of things. Now, if you get a little bit closer into the Brushy Creek area, then you may get more of that feel, but you won't get the hill country feel unless you get into Georgetown, and unless you get into Leander, and of course the west side of Austin. So, but again, a lot of people do seek out Round Rock. A lot of people reach out, they say, hey, I want to live in Round Rock because of the schools. And again, remember to do your own due diligence when it comes to the schools. But yeah, that is one of the reasons why people reach out, and some of the pushback as well. If you've seen some of my videos recently about Round Rock, you know that I have mentioned the tax rate in that particular community of a 1.75% for your property taxes, which is unheard of. So when it comes to shopping, like I mentioned, you have the outlet, you have an IKEA here. There's also a lot more development coming to the east side of things of Round Rock. That is where the majority of the new development is happening, not so much west, because it's pretty well established. But yeah, that's it for Round Rock. We are going to head up north into one of my favorite suburbs. Personally, it's just one of my favorites because I love the outdoors. And Georgetown has a lot to offer with that. Not that Round Rock doesn't, but Georgetown, you have a lake, awesome lake. I believe it's 28 miles worth of hiking in this lake. You can hike the entire lake. You can go fishing, you can go boating, you can go camping, you name it. The downtown is also one of my favorite downtowns around the area. Tons of activities for the kids, for the families, for adults as well. You have wine tasting, whiskey tasting, antiquing, you name it. A few good restaurants as well. They also have a pocket, and I can't remember what it's called right now, the kind of the shopping area, but it's a really cool area. It's right here, I believe. It kind of has a little bit of Mediterranean feel. And then later on, supposedly, there is a Wolf Lakes Village that's coming to this area where it is supposed to be Mediterranean feel type development, mixed use shoppings and restaurants and things like that. So that is coming to Round Rock as well. Let's talk about some of the pushback that I get when it comes to Georgetown. If you want to live close to downtown Austin, this isn't the place. You are not close. It's probably during the peak hours, it's probably going to take you an hour to get to downtown Austin. And the reason why I'm zooming out is so that I can give you some perspective. So here's Georgetown and here's downtown Austin. So you have to take, I-35 all the way down if you want to do that. Man, I apologize for that. So downtown Austin would be more of a destination on the weekends, or maybe a couple of times a month. But if you're somebody that want to be close to Austin, this isn't it. And I've gotten pushback from people that are like, well, we feel like it's not Austin. We feel like we're too far from Austin. And you're right. You're not close. You're not going to be close. But Georgetown it's a completely different lifestyle. It's the suburbs. It's a combination of both retire families to people just starting a family and they want more of a quiet area to raise a family. And then you also get young professionals too, or couples that are more established and they just want to kind of get away from the city. So you get both. The majority of the communities are going to be along this Highway 29 that cuts east and west. So you have pockets of communities here, here, here. I mean, you name it. You can also find, if you're looking for acreage, I recently was helping a couple find acreage, either 1 acre, 2 acres, 5 acres. You can definitely find it here. One of my favorite communities is Wolf Ranch. Beautiful community. I recently made a video about it. You're probably either going to watch it next week or you watched it last week, depending on when I post this. But I've made several videos about this community just because of how beautiful it is. Lots of greenery, lots of trees, lots of things to do outside because this San Gabriel River cuts right through it and you have access to the river. So pretty cool. And this is the only one that I'm going to highlight because there's so many communities. But this one in particular, you're looking at starting in the $600,000 range. You have Pulte, Perry, Highland Homes, Coventry, Dries. You can get into the $1 million homes as well. And I've shown that to you guys on previous videos. But a beautiful community. If that is your price point, this is definitely a community to check out. By the way, if you live in Austin, we can help you sell your house and go buy somewhere else because I'm actually helping a family sell their home in Wolf Ranch and then they're going to go buy somewhere else. So just because of some family things that happen and they just need to sell. So otherwise, she told me, I don't want to move out of here, but just some stuff that's going on with her family. So beautiful community, the price point starting in the $600,000 range. On that video that I'm going to show you, whether it's last week or this week, Pulte, according to them, they're the best priced builder in that community. And I didn't mean it like to say nothing against them, but they claim that, and they said that it's anywhere from $30,000 to $100,000 less than other builders in that area. So if you want to stretch your budget a little bit more, that is definitely a builder to consider potentially. But you also have options with Perry, Highlands, Coventry, and Dries as well. So that is the community that I wanted to highlight there. What else to talk about? Georgetown, I mean, there's so much to talk about, but definitely a suburb to consider, beautiful suburb to consider. I'll briefly mention Liberty Hill, very small, not a whole lot going on in Liberty Hill. If you're looking more for, I guess the word could be country, Texas feel, that kind of the old Texas, not so much the Austin feel, Liberty Hill is it. Tons of space. If you're looking for acreage, there's a ton of opportunities out here. One of the top selling master plan communities in the entire area is Santa Rita Ranch. Beautiful community. It has been the top selling community, I don't know how many years in a row, several years in a row. I've made a comprehensive video about this community. Make sure to check that out. You can find beautiful homes here. We're actually helping a family that found me here on YouTube because they either gave me a call or they sent me an email and we scheduled a Zoom and we came up with a plan, and then they decided to build a home here, and they're already building it. We should be closing on the home here in June. Beautiful home, over 3,000 square feet, with a private suite upstairs, game room, media room. He has a private office. This is kind of their dream home, beautiful home. And I think they're right around $700,000. Beautiful, beautiful home that they're building. And again, they found me on YouTube, they reached out, and we were able to help them. I also made a video about Regency, which is a 55 and above community, beautiful community. Toll Brothers is the builder. And if you know anything about Toll Brothers, one of the top builders around the entire area, the entire country. But beautiful, beautiful community. And again, Santa Rita, I think they're going to have a total of 3 amenity centers by the time they're done building this community. Tons of amenities for you and the kids, tons of activities for the family. Definitely a community to check out, and the top community, I would say, in Liberty Hill. All right. So now we're gonna make our way down south a little bit into Leander. You guys reach out all the time about Leander. It's one of the most popular suburbs, and people ask a bunch of questions about Leander. Growing a whole lot, really since 2010, it has been developing so much. I know in 2018 and 2019, it was the fastest growing suburb in the entire country. And I'm gonna keep it brief. You can definitely find options under 400,000 if you're looking for that. If you're looking for $1 million homes, you can definitely find that as well. If you're looking for the hill country feel where there's hills and you have some views, you can definitely find that as well. I'm just going to name a few really quickly. If you're looking for homes under $400,000, you're going to find a community right here, and make sure to reach out if you want more information, right next to an HEB. If you're looking for $1 million homes, we have Treviso, which is a luxury community. We have helped a couple of families find a house there. Beautiful communities. You can definitely find it starting in the, I would say, $600,000 to $700,000 range. No, more like $700,000 range at the very minimum. And then you can go all the way up into the $2-3 million homes. Beautiful community. I made a video about this community as well with my business partner, Victor. And if you have any questions about this community, hey, reach out. We can definitely find options there. Crystal Falls is a very popular community as well. You can only find resale homes here, but that is definitely an option. And then I want to highlight 2 things about Leander, and I think it's going to make Leander even more, 3 things. It's going to make Leander even more attractive, because right now, some of the pushback that I get from clients is that Leander, just like Georgetown, is too far from Austin. Again, if you're going to live in Leander, you're not living in Leander because of how close you are to Austin, right? If the access into Austin, we're going to be looking at anywhere from 45 to an hour, depending on the traffic. Without traffic, it's more like maybe, about 40 minutes, 45 minutes. But what's exciting about Leander is the 2 big developments, billion-dollar developments that are coming. The first one that I'll mention is Northline Leander. Mixed-use development. They're calling it kind of like a domain, but it's going to become the official downtown district, according to what they're saying, of Leander. Really, really cool. It has already started construction. I believe that there are already residential opportunities are already available, not for sale, not for purchase, but for renting. But it's going to be a mixed use. It's going to have restaurants. It's going to have shops, commercial, you name it. They're going to have events, all that. And then the second one is Leander Springs, which is also very exciting. I think they were having a ton of delays since they announced it, but they finally said that they're gonna break ground very soon. And I think estimated completion is gonna be around 2027 or 2028. But that is gonna be really cool. It's a crystal lagoon. It's gonna have a boardwalk. It's gonna have, shopping and restaurant. That is, in my opinion, and this is just my speculation, I think that's gonna make Leander even more of a top destination once those 2 things are built out. So, in my opinion, is going to translate to the prices coming up. So if you're looking to move into an area and see the value of your home increase even more in the next 5 to 10 years, this is a great opportunity, in my opinion. So I wanted to highlight that. And then lastly, when it comes to everyday living, they are building this toll road, and this is causing a lot of congestion in this area. And then all 183, which is coming right here, which is not a toll road, that gets pretty congested as well. So just something to keep in mind, because it's basically the only way out of Leander, unless you take Highway 29 and you go to I-35, or you take 1431 to cut across to get into I-35. But the thing with 1431 is that it's getting congested too. You also have the option of 2243, which is it's a county road. There are some parts where it's just a 2-lane road. So, just be careful. But there's also communities here. And again, reach out if you have any questions to the email or the number, and we can help you relocate. Or if you live in Austin already, remember, we can help you sell your home. And let's say you're living in Austin, you're like, man, I'm tired of living in Austin and I want to move to Leander with more space, or Georgetown. We can definitely help you do that. Now, last thing I'll mention before I let you go, guys, is where the domain is located in relation to the suburbs, right? I'm going to zoom in and then I'm going to zoom out. So when it comes to the domain, which is right here, very, very popular shopping center, outdoor shopping center. You have luxury brands in this shopping center. You have a Whole Foods as well. Other things, I can't remember the stores right now, but luxury brands as well, and a destination for families on the weekends. But here's the domain. And then if we zoom out, let me zoom out and then just show you where it's in relation to these top, and there's a reason why I'm doing this, and I'm about to tell you. So here's Hutto, Round Rock, Leander, and Georgetown, and then Liberty Hill way up here. But the reason why they call the domain the second downtown is because people that live in the suburbs, the north suburbs, and Pflugerville right here, if they don't want to go all the way down to Austin, they can just come to that domain. Right? And they get basically what they need. Obviously, it's not the Austin feel, right? What Austin is all about. But you honestly get tons of shopping, tons of things to do, and you don't have to go all the way into downtown Austin. So the domain is a great option. It has been, I think they started building the domain in the mid 2007, I believe, something like. I can't, and don't quote me on that, especially you Austinites. But anyways, it has become the second downtown, and it's a destination if you don't want to go all the way downtown. Another thing to mention, and I know I said that was the last thing, but the Q2 Stadium with the soccer field is right here in this area as well. So here it is, the Q2 Stadium. So if you love soccer, if you love sporting events, you have that there too. And then they're building even more commercial development. There's a Top Golf here, but they're building another commercial development that's going to bring more amenities to the area. Again, you don't have to go all the way downtown. Also, the Arboretum area is also options for shopping, restaurants, really good restaurants there too. So again, the point of mentioning that is that if you live in these northern suburbs, you don't have to go into downtown. All right, guys, so I hope you really enjoy the video and some of the things that people avoid, some of the feedback that I've gotten from clients when it comes to these different suburbs. And then, of course, I wanted to show you on the map and give you a different view of what to expect. But stay tuned very soon for part 2, where I'm going to be highlighting more the western part of Austin. And I'm also going to be highlighting some of the very popular suburbs and I should say neighborhoods, not suburbs, really close to Austin, but we're talking about more in the $1 million range. If that is your budget, this is definitely something that we can help you with. And then of course, Dripping Springs and the entire hill country part of Austin. But again, guys, if you have any questions about moving to this area, make sure to reach out to the number in the email, schedule a Zoom, and we can help you. The team and I can help you through this entire process. And if you live here, we can also help you buy a home or perhaps sell your home and then buy another home. Until next time, guys, hablamos español, así que los podemos ayudar. My name is Julio Monagas, and I'll see you on the next one. Adios.